Hello, farmers. Welcome to Taylor Street Farms. I'm Buzzer the Bee, and I'm buzzed with excitement to show you around the farm. Are you as excited as I am? Let our orientation begin. Taylor Street Farms sits on land owned by the Chicago Housing Authority, an agency that manages subsidized housing across Chicago. In the late 90s and early 2000s, the city tore down many public housing units, leaving in its wake an empty lot. In 2010, local residents of University Village banded together to form the Taylor Street Farms on one of the vacant lots. And today, the land is still owned by the Chicago Housing Authority, but is managed with love and care by people like you, Taylor Street Farms members. Now that we've had a chance to learn a little bit about the history of Taylor Street Farms, why don't we go buzz around the garden and meet some of the other farmers? Are you ready? Whenever you're at the farm, it's always a good idea to say hi to somebody that you see that's new. Hello there, I'm Buzzer the Bee. Who are you?
Hi, Buzzer. It's great to meet you. My name is Sally. My plot is right over there. Please feel free to stop over and pollinate my flowers anytime.
Oh, why thank you, Sally. I will. Wow, such nice people around here. And so many flowers.
Oh my God, look at the litter. Look at the litter. I gotta clean it up. Oh my goodness, in here.
What are you up to now, Sally? Looking for grains of pollen?
Buzzer, you are sharp. I'm just picking up some litter. I'm just about finished here. I always try to, leave the garden a little better than when I arrived. And litter blows in from around the city.
Well, that's great. It's good to know that Taylor Street Farms members are doing their part to keep our farm looking sharp.
Oh, you betcha. We have to take care of our own plots and make sure the weed seeds don't blow around, but we also want to take care of everything else, so it's nice to be here.
That's right. As Taylor Street Farms members, not only do we need to take care of our own vegetable beds, but we also want to make sure that we're taking care of the grounds and common areas too. There are lots of ways to keep our community garden happy and healthy. Keeping walkways clear, especially around garden plots, will help prevent people from tripping. We also want to make sure to avoid planting invasive plants in our garden beds, like mint or strawberries. And of course, because Taylor Street Farms is an organic garden, never use pesticides or synthetic fertilizers. Finally, before you leave the garden, always remember to close the gate behind you and lock it too when there's a lock installed. We want to respect the ecosystem of plants and animals, like myself, that use Taylor Street Farms as an urban wildlife refuge. We can do this by being respectful to other gardeners and only picking the produce that we grow ourselves or with permission. We never want to pick someone's crops or vegetables without their permission. And of course, I hope you won't pick a wildflower or plant growing in the prairie area that us bees just love to have around. And remember that Taylor Street Farms is a community-supported garden. So please don't host private events or parties unless you're planning on inviting all of the Taylor Street Farms members too, myself included. But don't invite your pet because dogs are not permitted at Taylor Street Farms. And don't be like my friend Owen the Owl who makes a hoot all night. The garden is only open dawn to dusk. All right, now that we know some of the general rules and courtesy of being a Taylor Street Farms member, let's get down to the dirt. That's where I like to spend my winters. You'll find each year a large pile of soil or compost available for your bed. Ah, nice and fresh. Water is generally available mid-May to mid-November from either the fire hydrant nearby or from rain barrels. Always remember to turn off the hoses when you're done using them and report any leaks that you might find. Finally, be considerate of how much water you use. Us bees don't know how to swim. And we want to make sure there's enough water for everyone. Finally, if you need some help watering a bed, you can grab a flag from the tool shed and put it in your plot to let people know. Hey, Sally.
Oh, Buzzer, you surprised me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I guess I do that a lot to people.
Oh, I know you do startle, but we know you're friendly and you're so busy flying from flower to flower that you don't harm people.
That's right. So, what are you up to, Sally, since I last saw you?
Well, I've been working at my garden, and now I've cleaned my tools and sprayed them with alcohol so that I don't transfer any germs to another bed, and I want to hang them up. Sometimes I have to look for a second and see where a likely hook is. I like to keep the shed organized, and I think most people do, because we can find things so much more easily.
Oh yes, and this tool shed is so neat and organized, I could practically live in it. In fact, I live right over by those hives near the native prairie. It's always really important that everyone does their part to hang up tools, clean them, and keep our tool shed nice and tidy. In addition to keeping the shed and other places tidy and neat, we also want to properly dispose of our waste. Consider composting and be sure to read the instructions posted on the compost bins before adding items to the piles. We want to make sure that we're cutting up our compost into tiny pieces before placing them into the bins. Finally, don't be like my friend Ron the rat, who loves to eat rotting meat. Adding rotting meat and food waste to the compost bins is a no-no and should never be done here at Taylor Street Farms. Ugh. For garbage and items that can't be composted, pack them out. Bag them up and then dispose of them at home. Please do not use the garbage bins in the alleyway, as we want to keep peace with our neighbors. There's a lot that goes into running a farm in the city, and we count on members like you to keep Taylor Street Farms running. Each year, every member is required to do 7 hours of volunteer time outside of maintaining their own garden bed. That's a lot less time than I spend each year maintaining my big beehive. All the tools that you need, like shovels, tomato cages, and more, are provided for you. And if you need some advice on how to control pests in your garden, or if you have extra produce that you want to donate, reach out to us at taylorstreetfarms@gmail.com or give us a buzz on the Instagram or Facebook pages. And remember that Taylor Street Farms prohibits the use of synthetic fertilizers and pesticides. Thank you for becoming a member of Taylor Street Farms. Being a member here is an honor and a privilege, and I hope while you spend time in the garden that you'll take some time to admire the hard work and fruits of labor of so many other members and volunteers who have contributed to additional projects like the Permaculture Food Forest, the Native Prairie, food donation drives, and we even have a live apiary where you can meet some of my honeybee friends. Thank you again, and I'm Buzzer the Bee. Happy farming!